Good morning. I believe I have one person on the call. I see Tegan, is that you?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. If I ask any questions about what you're seeing on your screen, it would be great if you could confirm for me. That way I know that what you're seeing is what I see on my screen. So when I'm doing examples here, I might say, Tegan, can you confirm that this page looks correct? Does this look, I'll say, does it look this way? And you let me know, okay?
All right, sounds good.
So are you seeing the home page for the class on your screen share?
I am.
Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to This is Weather and Climate Online. This is our first meeting. I will typically have these are optional meetings, but I tend to cover things that you'll get emails about, but things I will be doing will hopefully make you more efficient, completing assignments and understanding, so you're not asking so many questions through emails, and you're just simply not guessing what I want, you know what I want, and that way there's no confusion here. So these recordings will be accessed. When we are done, you'll click on your Zoom link. Can you confirm, Tegan, you see my cursor? Are you following my cursor on your screen? You can see that I'm clicking on the Zoom link?
I can.
Okay, all right. So if you click on that Zoom link, some of you haven't done these, you'll click on Cloud Recordings and you'll see each day. So like after today, there'll be one right there, and there'll be a link to there, and it'll ask you for a passcode. And I send you, after the end of the call, I send you the passcode in an email so you can access that recording, okay? So that's how you access the recordings for the Zoom calls each week. If I go back to home, I want to briefly go over the syllabus and go over the very first module that we'll be covering. And if you'll look, I've only released the assignments and the deadlines and the dates up through Module 1. So I wanted you aware that this is not an open entry, open exit course. So when you look at the layout of a module, you're going to see that I typically deal with a module, goes through a series of assignments, and that leads you to the unit exam. And all of that will be tracked in your calendar. And I'll show you that here shortly and how you follow along to go through and proceed through a module. But if you go down, you'll see that in Module 2, which is on humidity and precipitation, that none of the assignments are released. And I don't open up the next module until we finish the first one, because I want to see how quickly you're working and what kind of troubles you might be having. And so when I get near the end of Module 1, I'll go in and start opening up the assignments, and I lay out a module or a unit one at a time. So right now, I only have up through late September, a month from today, actually, available to you. So let's go through the syllabus first, and we'll take it from there. The syllabus here, it tells you the name of the course. Obviously, you're in Weather and Climate Online. We have no face-to-face visits that are required. All assignments and labs and everything will be done online. You do have a new element that I have added for the course, that exams will be done using our proctoring center. And I will be giving you some details about that here in a second. I'll be sending you an email with some links so you understand that the only part of the class that is required for attendance is when you take the exams. But let me go through here real quick and get up to the exams, which do require you to come into a proctoring facility. My name is Mike Rudabaugh. I go by Dr. Rudabaugh, and since we're not face-to-face, I will often answer all of your questions with Dr. R, because I get tired of typing Rudabaugh. It's a long name. So in class, when you see me responding to your emails and whatnot, I often will refer to Dr. R. I got my bachelor's from EIU in psychology, and I got my master's and PhD from Indiana State University in earth science geography. So my office is Office 59 in Northeast Building. I'm also the department chair for math science this year. And so if you have any other questions about math or science courses that you're taking at the college, you can contact me about those, because I'm often your first point of contact. If you have any questions, say, for example, in a math course, you can contact me and I can try to get you some answers. So if you need to call my office, there's my number. And my office hours, I am typically sitting in here for sure on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11 a.m. Our objective in this class is to provide you with a foundation understanding of key concepts within atmospheric science. We will be covering about 11 chapters out of the book, and you will see that I use a variety of videos and lectures to support you reading the book, so that it's just not you reading a chapter, as that I do have, you'll see that I have video lectures recorded. I use a lot of YouTube videos. I have my lecture slides for each chapter posted. And so there's a fair amount of support in here, and I'll be going over that here shortly for you. Our grading scale is a straight scale, 100, 90, 80, 70, 60. I let you know down here that typically I just round up or round down, depending upon if you're a 79.4, I would round you down to a C. A 79.5 rounds you up to a B. I typically reserve the right, if you're right on the border between the grades, if you have typically turned in and only missed 2 or fewer assignments, I often will even move people that are just 0.5%. So like if you have the 79.1, 2, 79.1, 79.2, 79.3, or 4, if you're right on the border of being rounded up, if you've just had 2 or fewer grades missing, I often will round you up to kind of reward you for consistency with turning in assignments. The biggest part of my course that has changed for this class, and of course the class is designed to minimize your transportation. I'm not necessarily convinced, is it the best for student learning? That's debatable. But I know one thing is that exams being taken online with the use of AI technologies and whatnot has led to a lot of students that are simply not taking the courses legit. And so I'm now requiring, we have 4 major exams. Each exam will cover around 2 to 3 chapters from the book with multiple choice true-false questions. You have the option to take the exams twice, and the higher of the 2 attempts is recorded. You could use your notes, books, or any outside resources unless the instructor has notified you with additional options, and I am notifying you that for the exams, one of the limitations is that you will no longer be taking exams at home. You will need to be going to a proctoring center, and you can still use your books and notes. The only thing that you cannot use is you cannot have your cell phone, or you cannot have another computer or iPad open once you enter the exam. So I'm adding an element, because I know factually that students are using, iPads and iPhones as they log into the test, and then they start opening up other screens, and they can effectively copy and paste questions into AI tools, and that's why I've had to add a policy about AI. So the exams have changed a little bit for me, and I just started this summer on a pilot study, and I'm pretty convinced it really rewards the students who are doing the work. Each chapter will have a quiz, and the quizzes are very similar to exams, is that you could use your books and notes, lecture slides, anything you have on paper in front of you for sure. You do not have to have quizzes proctored. So ideally, you're to be taking these quizzes straight up, like you would exams, but I'm not going to force you to come into campus for a quiz. The quizzes are designed to help you review for the upcoming exams. Some of you may or may not take them as seriously as you should, but quizzes are designed that if you do them correctly, they're going to help prepare you for the exams. And if you're using AI tools and things on the side in the background, or you're trying to Google the questions, effectively, you very well might do better on the quizzes, but on the exams, you're going to definitely see that there will be a price to be paid. On quizzes and exams, there are more questions in there, and they are randomly pulled in a random order. So you will see some questions twice if you take it again. Some of them you will not, and they will be in a random order. No two students will see the exact same quiz or exam. But obviously, being able to see quizzes and exams twice helps you, especially with the ones that you missed. They will identify the ones you missed, but it won't tell you what the correct answer is. So if you're missing a specific type of question on a specific topic, you can get a hold of me, and maybe, on my weekly conference calls, I can go over those and maybe why you're missing them. We do have labs and homework in, and they account for about 25 to 20% of the class. And these labs and assignments are done online, and they're submitted through Canvas. And I will show you the very first one, which is a real simple one we do on Chapter 1. And that's really why these, let me get back into here. The labs and assignments are really, it's helpful to watch these recordings that we do each week, because often I will be targeting issues associated with labs and assignments, which are to help you understand quizzes and exams. So that's why I have a specific way in which I like to go through the units, is I typically have a specific order I go through, which I'm going to show you here shortly. Okay. So the makeup policy is I will generally open up assignments and give you on labs, tests, and quizzes 3 to 5 days when quizzes and labs and assignments are available. And then when that date expires, a 0 will be recorded in your grade book unless you've communicated to me some unique or tragic some event that has caused you to miss. And I certainly understand if there's a family crisis or issue. As long as you get in touch with me, I will certainly try to work with you if one of these events impacts us. Food and water policy, obviously in an online class, we don't have to worry about that. I let you know I reserve the right to modify and change the syllabus as needed to support your learning. So if things are not working and people are struggling, I get that. So I just want to give you a heads up. If you see this course summary page, a lot of these dates and times on here don't get confused. They're based on prior semesters, and don't let these dates and summaries here. I don't know if you see those. Tegan, can you, in your course, can you see these course summary dates and kind of the order of this list here? Is that on your screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this list here is not much value to you, because the real value to you is in your calendar to see when things are due. This is the actual, if you click on your calendar, and go ahead and click on your calendar, if you would, Tegan, and let me know if you, in fact, I can make it look exactly like yours. I'm going to go into here, I'm going to view it as a student. This is exactly the way it looks on your screen, just like this. This lays out announcements and when things are going to be happening. So right here, in this 10:30 a.m. is a conference call. It says here the atmospheric layer lab is released. Please read chapter 1 and associated lecture notes, and please watch or review chapter 1 lecture videos. That is what's going on here on day 1. If you are, and then here is the kind of the progression of the unit, and you can start to see other assignments becoming due or released, and you could follow this flow right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view. And this is the way it looks on my screen. It looks a little different in instructor view. That order is following very close to, on Module 1, the calendar is almost, not quite, but pretty much following in sync with this list of assignments right here. And obviously it will end with an exam, okay? The readings and assignments is actually the very first part that you hit. And you can see that there's kind of like a 4-step process as you read a chapter. And with each chapter, I have the lecture slides are located right there, and you download the lecture slides there, and that would go on your screen, and you could just open up and print out the lecture slides. And here is a quick video lecture of me going over chapter 1, okay? Now, as some of you log in and begin to work, I just want to let you know Canvas tracks every second that you're viewing and working on things. And it becomes very clear to me as I look, and I can tell, you know, when as you're going through each week, and I can tell that some of you have logged in and basically logged in for a total of 30 minutes, and you're in week 3, you should be somewhere between 10 to 20 hours, probably, if you were in a legit college course, if you were sitting in a classroom. So when you come into the class, I can really tell who's putting in the work and who's viewing these resources. So you have your book, and then you start looking at the lecture videos, and then you start looking at taking, and I also have some additional videos here that are on topics for that chapter. These are YouTube videos that I believe are complementing things that you're studying in the chapter 1, for example. So one's about the sun, the next one's about radiation, difference between Earth and the sun's radiation, the different layers of the atmosphere. And this one here is a nice visual of what it would be like to journey up through the 4 layers of the atmosphere. Then you often have a lab assignment, and then you take a quiz. And that's kind of the order that you go through the material. And so, like today, you really should be looking at chapter 1. These are my lecture videos, and if you were to click on them, they're just embedded right within there. And if you clicked on them, and you can maximize the window and watch it just like it's in YouTube, or leave it there. But you know, I like to maximize so I can see the screen. My PowerPoint slides, or my lectures, are for an older version of the book. It's a little bit, your version of the book is a little newer, but pretty much it follows pretty close to the same order, and the pictures are almost identical in your book as my lecture slides are. So if you do notice that, don't worry that they overlap quite a bit, if not 100%. So this is your kind of like, how do I learn what's going on in the chapter? Most people will skip these steps, and they want to go right into taking and going into doing a lab. And the very first lab is called the Atmospheric Layers Lab. And they want to start taking quizzes. And at that point, you're not learning anything. You're just trying to race through the course. And that's what I see some students doing. Of course, some of you are going to follow through and take it and do it fine and go through the order that I recommend that you do it because you're actually wanting to learn something, and that's great. But I don't like students getting an A that's actually putting in many hours of work, and another student getting an A And I can clearly tell by the time spent in the class that they're almost doing none of the prep work to learn about the material. So unless you have a background in meteorology and climatology, the average student probably has about zero probability of understanding the concepts without doing some of the preliminary prep work that I'm showing you right here online. Okay? So if I was to go back to the module, you would see under readings and assignments, you're today to be starting to read chapter 1 and to be watching these lecture videos and beginning to look at these associated videos that are associated with concepts in the chapter. Once you've done that, you're then to take the atmospheric layers lab, and that is released today. And I'm going to go over that here shortly. Okay. So once you have gone through one chapter, and module 1 is over chapters 1 through 3. So you got 3 chapters there. Okay. Once you get through and complete the atmospheric layers lab, and you take the chapter 1 quiz, you go to chapter 2, and then there's 3. You know, I broke up chapter 2 into 3 7 to 10 minute lecture videos. And then there is that same order again where you've got the PowerPoint, there is the videos that I've added from YouTube that I think really supplement. Then we're going to go through, the next lab is called the Sun Angle Lab for chapter 2, and then you take the quiz, and then you go on to the next unit, okay? And then, or the next chapter. And then after chapter 3, you get down to chapter 3 and you take the chapter 3 quiz, then you get to the unit 1 exam. There's a review sheet. There's a review sheet right here, and the exam is online. And this is where things have changed a little bit. So if you were to go down through here and look at module 1, all of those assignments covering chapters 1, 2, and 3 are listed right here, and the readings for the chapters are right in module 1. But these are the actual where you access the assignments, okay? You'll see these listed in your calendar. If you were to click on the calendar, you will see them, okay? When you take an exam, when you click on this link, you will be asked for a password, okay? And in fact, if I was to show you this now, you as a student, okay? There will be, it tells you that the chapter, Unit 1 exam is not going to be available to the 21st. It will be due on the 25th. So there's like a 4-day window there. And on the 21st, when you click on there, there'll be a box here that says passcode. You will have to locate our proctoring center on campus, which I'm going to send you after this call. I am going to send you some links and some attachments for when our proctoring center is open and the locations that we have open. We have 2 facilities that have testing centers in Mattoon's main campus here, and in Effingham at the new Effingham Technology Center. And we also have Pena and Marshall, and we could potentially arrange for you to be there. If you're taking this class and you're not in the Lakeland district and you want to take a proctored exam, I will forward you to a potential external location that you must find a library or another college near you where you live could be used, for example, and I will work with that library or that college librarian, or if you're near, say, Parkland or Lincoln Land in Springfield. I had a student this summer, and she took her exams at the Lincoln Land College Testing Center, and I would just work with that person at their testing center individually. So I will let you start pondering, you know, where you're going to be taking the test. If you're close enough to get to Effingham or Mattoon, and potentially we also could do Pena or Marshall. And then if you're not in our district and you're a good ways away and you can't get here, we will have to address where you're going to take your test. And generally, we'll have a library or another college nearby. Nearby you. That is how you get through a unit. So the readings and the videos for each chapter are here. Then you have the assignments are kind of somewhat almost spot on in order of how you're going to proceed through that unit. Okay. So that's the layout of the course. The only other thing I would really want to show you today is the very first assignment is the Atmospheric Layers Lab. This assumes you have read chapters 1 already, and I have a nice video embedded in here to kind of make sure you're aware of, and this is a nice 30 minutes. So imagine if you were in a lab class, this is what you would probably need to understand as a lab teacher would be prepping you with the concepts to understand the chapter or the lab that you're going to be doing in class. So I put this video in here for you to kind of look this over before you start the assignment. This is a quick overview of what you just saw up here. This is kind of like the shorter version of it. And then what I go through is I ask you a series of questions about each layer of the atmosphere and what is happening in that layer relative to the temperature and density of the atmosphere, so that you can tell me why each layer is a little bit different and how these layers are effectively controlling the planet's temperature and how they work together to secure and why the Earth can support a habitable planet with a biosphere and sustainable for life. So you go through, and the first 5 questions are just about the troposphere. The next 4 questions are about the stratosphere. The next 5 questions are about the top 2 layers of the mesosphere and thermosphere. And then you have a bonus question about companies that are now taking private citizens to space. So as this assignment has become released, if I view you as a student, it says this assignment is locked and it will be open up. This assignment will be opening up literally in about 2 minutes. And when you fill out the assignment, you will just click a submit button on here. And literally, you will just, as you answer the questions directly on this page, I'll get off of here and leave student view. When you answer these questions, you just write on the page 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you write the question numbers. You can either write the questions in Word and upload it directly, or you could type them directly in the page itself. It depends on what you like. I like using Word and just uploading the file. That way I can actually use some grammar checking and whatnot in Word. And there'll be a button on there called Submit Assignment, and it'll immediately, if you type the answers to the questions, and they'll send directly to me, or you'll be asked to upload, and you just got to upload the file from your computer onto there. So again, these questions will not mean anything to you unless you do the prep work and understand chapter 1 and go through that. So that's the layout of the course. That's the very first assignment. And again, you won't be doing this assignment unless you have gone through chapter 1. And obviously you would start first with reading the chapter and watching my lecture videos. And since this assignment is on the layers of the atmosphere, my friend, EIU professor I went to graduate school with, he has these video up here that really kind of gives you an overview about the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere, how they work collectively together to control the planet's temperature where you live at the bottom of the troposphere. So why does the Earth's atmosphere, why are we basically at a mild temperature and not baking like Venus or freezing like Mars? Why is Earth kind of like the Goldilocks planet that's at a temperature where water can exist in 3 states, kind of at an even temperature around 59 degrees Fahrenheit? Is all kind of explained with how the 4 layers of the atmosphere work to balance how much radiation gets to the Earth from the sun. And that is what you should be learning in Chapter 1. Effectively, you're learning why there's life on Earth. So that's a half hour. I try to keep it to about a half hour. And was that helpful, Tegan, to get an outline of how the course is laid out?
Yeah, I think so.
When you want to see your grades listed, they will be right there under the grade column right there. And you will see as assignments are coming due. I can show you the class now because there are no grades in there. Shouldn't be. Everything is empty, and you will see on yours, you'll just see your name, and there's Tegan, there you are. And if you go over to the right, you'll see over on the far right, you'll see your average coming in right here. And so you'll know all the time. You'll just see one row. You won't see the whole class. And that way you can see as the semester is progressing and as you're going through these assignments, you'll see in your grade book, as you're completing these assignments, you'll see your average moving as these point totals. So the point totals for the very first assignment is right on the link itself. It says the Atmospheric Layers Lab is due on the 28th. And you can see that on your calendar. If you click on your calendar link, you can literally see when what you should be reading and what assignments you should be doing is all in your calendar. So it kind of, if I would print out your calendar for each month, it will help you and just put it next to where you're working. And you could see what each assignment is worth, all right? And you could see we have some discussion boards that we'll be doing. And I'll be giving examples of discussion boards. You know, when we come to that week, if you've never done a discussion board, I'll give you an example of how to do those as well. And obviously, the big ticket item are obviously exams. And the way I set the class up is that exams are worth about 40%, quizzes are worth about 40%, and assignments are worth about 20%. So if you're not a good exam test taker, still 60% of the course is stuff that you control. Being able to take quizzes twice with all of your notes and book and being able to work on assignments, they're pretty much committed, or I would say they're very much controlled by your organization and your work ethic. You should be able to control 60% of the grade. The exams are the things that you come in and do that if you're not a good exam test taker, you're not good at science, you could still survive in the class if you take advantage of doing well on the homework and the quizzes. You can still get by in the class by doing well with all of this other stuff that's prepping you. And if you do this other stuff well, I would argue you're going to be doing your exam well. So today, what I would expect from me was you're going to get an email. You're going to get an email from me updating you with our proctoring lab, with when they're open, where they're open, and you're going to be getting a link on there that if you are wanting to use a different facility for proctoring, you will need to fill out a form because we got to verify that where you're working is a legit location. And so I'll be sending you that information here shortly. So be expecting an email, 2 emails today. My first email will be with me sending you the passcode for today's conference call, kind of me going over the syllabus today and how the course is laid out. And the second email will be about how the proctoring will work. So that'll be the 2 big items and outcomes for today. And again, every week, if you can't attend the Zoom calls, if you click on the Zoom link, you will go click on Zoom and go under Cloud Recordings, and you will see that week on Monday, typically, unless I have to change when I do it, each week you will see that week's conference call. And when you can click on it, it'll just ask you what your passcode is, okay? And that will be it. So you should be getting an email sent to you when the conference call is available, the video, but you won't be able to access it until you get a passcode, which I'll send that to you through email. So that's it. Tegan, did I cover everything? Did I help you get an idea of where everything's at?
Yes, you did a great job. Thank you.
I do it because I have a video here, and this is basically what I'm doing right now, but I'm going to replace this video with what I did today because this course has now changed because I'm going to proctoring. So I'm going to basically take the video that I just did and that's being recorded right now, and I'm going to put it into this video because this video was from when the class did not have proctored exams, and now it does, and that's changed a big element of the course. So I'll be replacing this video with what I just talked about today here shortly. So if there are no questions, Tegan, thanks for calling in. That was very helpful. And I will be online next Monday at the same time. And hopefully some of you may or may not be able to get on, but I always love for a few people to get on. So if there is my ability to verify that everything's working. So I will end this call for today. I'll stop the share. And I will see everybody this week through email. I did request an introduction email, and almost none of you have sent me anything. I think 2 or 3 of you have. So if you could send me an introduction email, I would really appreciate that. I like to get to know you, and I think I asked you. Tegan, can you confirm you did get that request?
Yes, I did. I think I've sent it through.
Okay. Yeah, I like everything through Canvas, and I just like to know, I think I asked, if you tell me where your hometown is and any career goals you have or what degrees you're trying to get, that'll help me understand a little bit about how to maybe tailor some examples in the course or whatnot. So if you're in law enforcement or radio, TV, broadcasting, or criminology or psychology or something like that, that'll help me with understanding how to tailor the course maybe to your interest. Okay? Alrighty, that's it for today. I'm getting tired. And I will let you go, and I will look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Thanks, Tegan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.